let's talk about Android 13 on the Pixel 6. This was so far a pleasant surprise.
Okay.
So actually, this sort of developed for a while. So David and I were keeping an eye on the Android 13 betas. We always look at the newest versions of iOS and Android when they come out and sort of put together a top features list as they get like developed as they go through beta. iOS 1, that happened already. Android came out in beta. There wasn't really enough new stuff in the first beta to do a video on the new features, so we waited. And then another beta came out, and there wasn't really new stuff there, so we kept waiting. Then another beta came out, and there wasn't really enough new stuff there. And then it just dropped early, AOSP, before the Pixel 7. Usually you have to wait till the new phone to get like the stable new version of Android. This week we just got Android 13. Now, you'll only get it on a couple Pixels, the newest phones. I flashed it on my Pixel 6 Pro. Flashing it does wipe the phone, so maybe there's a little extra benefit to me wiping my phone and setting it up from scratch. Sure. But I have now been using Android 13 on the Pixel 6 Pro for a solid 24 hours, and it's been very good. That's usually how it starts for me. It usually starts very good. But I did a video on the new features, and there is some pretty cool stuff. Definitely watch the video. I think one of the most interesting ones is apparently this is one of the most requested features of Android for the past couple of years, which is app-specific languages. So if you are bilingual, if you speak 2 languages, but maybe you only use one language in a certain app, 1 or 2 apps that you use. Maybe it's like WhatsApp or like you have a family group chat in another app or something like that. That's just another language over there. And you don't want to have to change the entire system language to properly use the app and the keyboard in that app. You can now go into the system settings and switch over just one app to a different language. And it will change everything about the app to the new language. And you can just work in one language in a certain app. That's pretty sick. There's a bunch of other little features like that all sprinkled throughout Android 13. I think most of the changes are bug fixes. Like it feels like Android 12.1 or 12.2 to me, which is fine. It kind of feels like
fantastic.
Yeah, it's what Android 12 would have been nice if it was when it came out. A little more stable, a little less bugs. It's been smooth for me, no problems. But again, I'm gonna have to keep my eye on it because this is how Pixels usually start out for me. But it's really good. There are way more wallpaper customization settings. There's like 16 different color options now. My disappointment on the home screen is to see this themed icons thing.
I've seen a lot of Twitter posts about this.
So when that first came out, it was just Google Apps. So if you check that box, it themes all of your Google apps on your home screen to be like monochromatic to match your custom colors. And in this new version of Android 13, it was supposed to be able to theme like everything. I checked the box. It definitely doesn't theme everything.
That's a lofty goal.
Yeah. So it's still like, and I have some pretty common apps, Spotify, Instagram. They don't theme those. Like there's a lot of apps that don't get themed.
That's what I found really interesting. I think Daniel Bader posted a picture of his home screen, and looking at it, it looks terrible because like he had maybe 12 apps on his home screen and probably 4 of them weren't matching with the rest of them. But it seemed like the 4 that weren't matching were, like you said, Spotify, but then he had some other apps that I'd never heard of before. So it's really weird that the super general ones aren't getting skinned, where some like totally small scale programs I've never heard of.
It is truly a head scratching combination. Like a lot of the Google apps, not all of the Google apps, but most, if not all of the Google apps are all like skinned, like YouTube, Google Drive, Photos, all that stuff. But like Google Wallet isn't skinned for some reason. And then Instagram and Spotify aren't skinned. But you know what is? Relay Pro.
Really?
And like a couple of
third-party Reddit app?
Yeah. That one's skinned for some reason. And Pocket Cast, my podcast app, like that, it doesn't really make a lot of sense which ones are versus aren't skinned.
And so my biggest problem with that is unless you happen to have a home screen that only uses skinned apps, it feels like I would never turn that on if it weren't all of them on my home screen, because it would look so bad.
I was really looking forward to being able to flip the switch and just have like a nice, clean, monochrome home screen. But the dream is dead. It doesn't work. But yeah, Android 13 looks good. A lot of smooth stuff, a lot of good features in here. Worth checking out the video on my top 5.
I'm very interested mostly in the fact that you said it feels like a lot of bug fixes because I am still using my Pixel 6. I am increasingly still having more and more bugs. I think I've mentioned a lot of them.
You have the
I have a screenshot here that I just showed you a second ago, but it is like,
yeah.
it is hilarious to me. I think I've mentioned before how my search bar on my home screen will, despite always being forced dark mode on my phone, every once in a while, and happening probably 2 or 3 times a week now, will turn to light mode. And I've said, it's just annoying. It's mostly an issue when I'm trying in the dark, and now I get a white screen.
Yeah.
So it happened to me the other day. I searched in light mode, and then the result came in. I don't know if you can see this. We can put a screenshot of the phone. But if you're an audio listener, the top part where it says Google on the search bar is the light mode. The bottom part with like your share and discover and search is light mode. But the middle results are all dark mode.
It's weird.
It was really strange.
It's a strange
It's just like
bug.
another weird thing that happens that you like, that's noticeable. That's just something that feels like it's constantly going wrong. So I hope there's some bug fixes because I have a lot.
So do you have the download pending or no?
I don't know. Did you also see I can check right now, but did you see how apparently some of these some of the over-the-air updates for this were actually just giving people Android 12 downloads, like full 2 gig downloads to just put Android 12 on their phone when they already had Android 12.
I thought that was fascinating.
It was
Very odd.
funny.
I did flash it like manually, so I didn't wait for the over-the-air update, but it worked out for me. Obviously, that was a little more foolproof, but it wiped my phone.
I do not have the update right now, but now that you've used it for 24 hours, do you think it's worth doing the update right away, or would you recommend most people wait?
No, I'd say update.
Okay.
Update. It's because it's, again, if it was like some huge thing, like a bunch of UI changes and a bunch of crazy features, and maybe some of them weren't stable yet, I would say wait. But this really is like Android 12.2. It's a lot of fixes and a lot of improvements. They moved the settings and the quick settings down. See, you know how it's typically right here in the middle?
Yeah.
They got it down there in the corner where it's a little more
I'd take
reachable.
that.
Little power button down there. So
That's big.
I think that's good. I think a lot of good changes.
One last question on that. Do you think this could potentially be dropping it early to have more people using it and maybe get a couple bug fixes out of 13 before they launch it with Pixel 7? Because one of the big things that really hurt Pixel 6 was the bugs that came with Android 12 with that.
Yeah, it is odd that it launched early. That is an interesting theory. If it is their intent, I think it'll work because they now have a month of some early Pixel adopters and some bug reports to like really lock up Pixel 7's experience before it comes out and then go super hard with Pixel 7. I can see that. Yeah.
I think it's a really good idea, honestly.
Not bad.
You get that, and you get to just build a little bit of hype potentially a month or two before the release, and then they're not going to do an event showing it off. They're going to do it at the event anyways, so why not build a little hype behind it?
The clipboard stuff is cool. I think a lot of the features, too, if you read up on Android 13, are tablet-focused, and which basically keeps reminding me, oh, yeah, right, they did announce that they're going to have a tablet coming out in like next year sometime. Including universal copy and paste between the phone and the tablet, which already exists for some other phones, but it'll be built into Android, so that'll be cool. But yeah, whenever the Pixel tablet comes out, that'll have a bunch of cool features too.
With the Roadster?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you see the couple people found out that on their Pixel 6a, you could unlock 90 hertz?
Yeah, people were tweeting this at me. Well, first of all, okay, my big complaint, I'm putting this in air quotes. I think the Pixel 6a is a really good phone. My biggest notable downfall of the Pixel 6a when you compare it to other phones in this price range is, well, this one's still 60 hertz. So while it is fast, it isn't as smooth because that high refresh rate helps it feel smoother. A lot of people fired right back at me for that. How could you, 60 hertz is plenty. Yeah, obviously, lots of phones are 60 hertz still, but if you're going to be buying a new phone, most new phones for $500-ish will give you a higher refresh rate. Sometimes it's 90, sometimes it's 120, and as someone who has used a lot of phones, it's something I really think is worth getting at that price. So I noted that about Pixel 6a, but now with this headline, a lot of people were sending this at me because apparently this was an intentional choice by Google, now knowing that the panel that they're using actually does support 90 hertz, potentially even 120 hertz.
It's confusing.
So it's a nice flat 1080p OLED display that is capable of running theoretically at 90 hertz and refreshing at 90 hertz. But Google is locking everything with the Pixel 6a at 60 hertz.
Yeah. From everything I read is like there's quite a few people who did this, and it seems like a total pain in the neck if you actually want to do it. It's a very hacky way to do it.
Yeah.
But there are people who are getting 90 hertz out of their screens. They're running multiple benchmarks to show that it's 90 hertz and showing videos and pictures of it, which is also kind of hard to confirm. But I think enough people have done it where it seems like it's totally believable that this is happening. But
it's so funny because it's like it's clearly not the same group of people. But it is really funny hearing people get mad that I called out the 60 hertz on the Pixel 6a. And then theoretically, a bunch of the same people are going, but look, it can do 90 hertz. I thought that didn't matter to you. Yeah. I thought you didn't care about 90 hertz. Oh, you do care about 90 hertz. Oh, okay, well, yeah. You can also buy a Pixel 6, by the way.
Yeah.
If you really want 90 hertz.
Yeah, from everything that I read of what you have to do, it seems crazy hacky. It seems like it comes with a lot of problems. There's some people have like crazy green tint on it because the phone's then not calibrated for like the new like how it's seeing the screen. And then also a lot of people were saying that they were doing it, and then when they would get the new option that says like smooth display, and when they would turn that on, the screen would just go black. So I would like highly not recommend doing this to your phone.
Same.
I think you need to be pretty like an kind of an expert or like pretty experienced to be able to do it, but it probably shouldn't be done. I'm sure Google kept it at 90 for a reason. I don't
60.
think 60 for a reason. I don't think they're trying to hide all that much from you. It probably just makes far more sense at 60.
I'm also pretty sure this won't be the first or last phone that has a display that is technically capable of a higher refresh rate that is locked at 60.
I did see mention in here that apparently there was an Asus phone at one point that it was advertised as 120, but you could unlock it to 160, I think.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, sure.
But yeah.
Yeah. So my continued rampage against 60 hertz phones, including all of the iPhones that are super expensive and don't have high refresh rate, will probably not end anytime soon. So
fair.
Yeah, but it is kind of interesting seeing that this was an intentional choice. I will say this is one of the questions we have at the end. Like, how many extra points would you give the Pixel 6, say, if it had a higher refresh rate out the box? I wonder how much it would affect, things like battery life and overall efficiency of the phone. Google probably made that calculus already, which is why they landed on what they decided to land on. But we'll see what Pixel 7's lineup looks like. I'm gonna be very curious about that lineup. The pricing, the phones, the features that they launch with, how they follow up Pixel 6 with a Pixel 7 and a Pixel 7 Pro. And then waiting a few months and then a theoretical Pixel 7a. What does that choice look like for Google? We'll see. But yeah, I think that's it.
I'm still so hard in the group. I really think they should just release all three at the same time.
I wouldn't be mad at all. But like also the iPhone SE is like mid-cycle. Even the Nord for OnePlus is mid-cycle. Like they don't.
Yeah, but don't follow what OnePlus does. I would try and do the opposite of what
That's fair.
What OnePlus does. So.
Totally fair.
Okay.
This Waveform clip is brought to you by the comment that you are typing right now. It's actually an ad. I don't know if you know that, but when you hit post, that's an ad. That's just how it works here now.
Is it?
Yeah. Okay. When we say free ad supported, we really mean free comment supported, but it's actually you that we chose. You're seeing this outro. You are writing the ads for this video. Appreciate that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading whatever you wrote.
Your ads?
Yep.
We like ads. Do we?
Like your ads.
We
anyway.
like your... Okay.